Hello and welcome to Melting Core. On tonight's episode, we cover the Illinois event Combo Breaker 2024. 104 Lumina players converge on Schaumburg for a shot at victory, and we will cover the players seeded for top 8, and after that, talk about some players open for some giant killing. Top seed Scrot Vermilion is no stranger to the top spot. Victor of the PSA Circuit 2 finale, Tampa Never Sleeps, and second at Frosty Faustings, the Coma main is positioned to make a strong push. Notable players in his bracket path are Gavin at the end of Pools, a powered CL player from MDVA, and Plat 9, a Shiki player out of Colorado, just before top 8. Gavin could prove a rough fight for the Costa Rican player, as Powered CL has been the one character to give him his few losses in his recent brackets, notably with Aaron beating him twice at Frosty Faustings. If he powers through as expected, he'll be the man to beat for the rest of top 8. Since the conclusion of the Panic Shield Anonymous Circuit 2, Kikoho has returned to a more consistent presence as a player in Lumina brackets. He has positioned himself as one of the most dominant players online, with multiple wins in the Monday Night Mashfest brackets, as well as gathering offline experience at his weekly Hall of Gaming. A Red Archwood player from Connecticut, he has few players he finds difficult to contend with, notably Defiant keeping him out of top 3 at Frosty Faustings, and Scrot being a player he has not found an answer for. Along with these players, the changes to his character in patch 1.45 has changed how he interacts with certain top tiers, but despite that, he is still keeping up and surpassing his peers. Will he be able to overcome the competition at Combo Breaker, though? Defiant is a player ready to come out and show up, placing 3rd at Frosty Faustings and 9th at Crossover Arc. Despite the focus on Undernight, Defiant keeps up the practice and continues to impress with his vlog on the big stage. His 3rd place at Frosty's came over Kikoho, someone who he will most likely have to face again. But before that, he's expected to run into Fushi, an Ushi Wakamaru player who is relegated to online-only events due to his location, with the exception to Evo and now Combo Breaker. The unorthodox player may be trouble, but should Defiant manage to overcome him, he will seal a spot in top 8. Arhkma is a player who keeps finding himself in top 8s for events often online. He finished 7th at Frosty Faustings and 5th at Crossover Arc, fighting with the dual mains CL and PCL while doing so. He's scored wins on both Kikoho and Scrot in the past, but has not taken a set off Defiant. He is also on the path of Hardly, an Archwood player from the northern Midwest, who he previously fought a close 2-1 victory with at Frosty Faustings. If he can manage to push through, he can make a play for the top spot. Plat is one hell of a player. A noticeably aggressive yet thoughtful opponent, he is near the top of several players' scariest players to fight in brackets list. His path has him running into the Red Archwood player Blitzbright, and should he beat the Illinois player, he then runs into Scrot Vermilion. What should be an excellent set, it's still very much a David and Goliath-esque matchup, and one to watch. If he does lose a set by seeding, he would meet Made in Heaven before top 8. The two have sparred online on multiple occasions, with him winning their last engagement 2-0. Keep Plat on your radar if you are following the bracket from home. He's sure to do some crazy stuff at Combo Breaker. Fushi is a player you may not be familiar with if you only watch the offline brackets. An Ushi Wakamaru player from Utah, he mostly stays online due to, well, living too far from anything. The one event he has participated offline for was Evo, where he finished a strong 25th. His online results typically find him either in top 8 or just outside of it, and any high-level Melty player will tell you just how good he is. This being his second offline event means both some adjustment to the consoles, but also the ability to prove how strong he and his character can be no matter when or where. His bracket run sees him running into Made in Heaven and later Defiant should he win. If the set with Defiant doesn't work out, he'll have to fight Blitzbright for top 8. Should Made in Heaven win, he'll have to push through top 24 and most likely face Plat for top 8. Any and all of these outcomes are within the realm of possibility, but don't be surprised if he makes it into top 8 on the winner's side. Hardly is a player discussed during the Frosty Faustings Melting Core, but for those who didn't see it, here's the lowdown. A player claimed by the Minnesota scene, this Archwood player competes at his local events, with sets against Made in Heaven and Pico occurring often. He notably showed up hard versus Kiri at Frosty Faustings, winning a set 2-1. Though he lost to Arhkma just before top 8, he kept it intensely competitive, and his path is shaping up well, running into the Saber player Link Pendrago at the end of Pools, and then Arhkma. Link playing a matchup very familiar should be a boon, but Link in his own right could throw a spanner in the works. Should Hardly prevail, a loss to Arhkma would see him running into Mick or Satsui no Gringo for top 8. A victory on the loser side could potentially see a team kill in top 8 should Made in Heaven win versus Plat, so staying on the winner side would be ideal, and he very much is capable of it. Arhkma is a player with multiple characters under her belt. She's a frequent player at offline events, as well as practicing online during her Twitch streams. Though split with her time grinding Under Night 2, she's still an extremely talented player who has been putting in more focus on Dan since the release of 1.45. She's expected to fight Mick for top 24, and then after to fight Kikoho for top 8. This will be a hard-fought match, but should Kikoho win, Arhkma will likely face Link Pendrago in losers. Link's Saber should be a hell of a fighter, and Akimi would need to steel herself before the set, but she definitely has it in her to prevail on the winner's side. Let's now quickly highlight players in position for some giant killing. Players with the ability to triumph despite the odds, seeding be damned. Made in Heaven is a player from Minnesota, making the trek out along with previously noted player Hardley. Unlike his compatriot, he is active offline and online, with some very strong showings in recent weeks, including Monday Night Mashfest 133, where he beat Arhkma, Plat, and Kikoho before finishing third to Phantom and a very vengeful Kikoho. A solid Saber, but not the only one in contention. Link Pendrago is another Saber, but from the East Coast. A strong player often online, he's the king of dive kicks and very willing to let an Avalon loose if needed. He notably finished at 9th at CEO Otaku 2023, with wins over Arhkma and Gumi. He's got it in him for top 8, we'll just have to see how the day goes. Blitzbright is the second Red Arcwood player for the bracket to mention, often developing the combos and strategies used for North American Warks to excel in the game. They are also extremely strong in their own right, but haven't been as active recently, with Tekken 8 being their focus for a bit. Still, they're actively grinding Lumina out, and recently won ACEN 2024's Melty Blood bracket this last weekend. Definitely keep them in mind during the weekend. And that's all the time we have for today. If you want to see the sets go down, Top 24 will be streamed on Low Kick Esports' Twitch channel. I'll also be bringing my camcorder Saturday to record footage for pools, as they will unfortunately not be streamed. If you want Melty Blood without the Lumina, the Actors Again current code bracket is going to be held on Friday night, and streamed at 7:30 p.m. on Jay Wong's Twitch channel. I've been Arhkma, and this has been Melting Core. Alright, now where did I put my controller?